Hey guys, Rustin here with Overlanding USA. Today we've got another great episode of Built and this amazing 100 Series Land Cruiser. Today I've got a guy you might know from the Overland Adventure, from 4-Wheeler Magazine. They did that right before Overland Expo. I've got Ben Garner and his amazing 100 Series. So Ben, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
This thing's absolutely unbelievable. It's just spec'd out to the T, and I'm super excited to get into it. So let's just go ahead and start diving in.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and just show us, kind of what we've got going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot left that's stock. So let's just cover all these bits and pieces.
So right off the bat, you notice the front bumper. It's a Descent off-road front bumper, modular. So you can order it with or without the bull bar. You can order it, a couple different variations.
Wow.
Had it color matched to the truck on the ends.
Very cool.
And then did the gloss black accents everywhere else.
Awesome.
Man, it's got the worn Xeon Platinum 12S winch up in here. Relocated the head up on top of the bumper.
Very cool. That's super clean.
Yeah, I got the Factor 55 Ultra hook with the rope guard on the end of that there.
Color matched and everything?
Yeah, had to go with the OD green to match the truck.
That's awesome.
And then we got the Land Cruiser grills, front grill. Had it custom
That's
ordered,
beautiful.
and they kind of made it the way I wanted it.
Yeah.
Had a couple of brackets made to install these yellow flashers from Whalen.
Nice.
In the grill there. And
Very
then
cool.
Finished it up with the HID Projectors custom Depot headlights.
Wow.
Ordered the Depot one-piece headlights and then had HID Projectors retrofit and paint it.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful. I need to get me a set of those.
Yeah, they work pretty good. I'm really happy with them.
Awesome. So other armor on the truck?
Yes, running sleeve skid plates. I got the aluminum front intermediate and then the steel belly skid.
Okay.
I've got the white knuckle off-road products rock sliders slash steps.
Okay. Awesome. Very
and then,
cool.
the Descent off-road rear bumper.
Okay,
with
cool.
The tire carrier.
And you said it's modular as well, right?
Yeah, you can add or remove swing outs depending on what you want to try to do.
That's great. Color matched?
Yes, color matched the same way as the front bumper is.
Of course, that's the best way to do it. Awesome. This front end looks really great, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way it's turned out.
Sweet. Well, now you've got something really cool for us under the hood.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and dive into that.
Okay.
And we'll get going with that.
No problem.
All right, sweet. There it is recording. All right, Ben, we got some cool stuff going on here, man. That looks like a supercharger.
Yes, sir.
All right, walk me through it.
All right, so the TRD Supercharger, first thing you notice when you open the hood, it was actually installed at 150,000 miles on this truck. It was pulled off of a used Toyota Tundra. It was getting traded in, and a buddy had a buddy who was trading the Tundra in. I was like, hey, you want the supercharger for the Land Cruiser? So he installed it before I purchased it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so one of the main selling points for the truck when I bought it.
That's killer. So it's got, it's supercharged. So you got it put on at 150,000. What are you at right now?
I'm at 217 now.
Awesome. So it's just really cranking on that old Land Cruiser Prodigy, being super reliable with that 4.7. That's killer, man. So made it up with the supercharger. You said you've got some other stuff going on to up a little more power.
So to go with the supercharger, I had the Doug Thorley stainless steel headers installed.
Okay.
Doug Thorley stainless steel catback exhaust.
Wow.
And then just a regular K&N filter.
Sweet. Did you ever get to drive it around before putting the headers on?
No. Yes, I drove it around for about 2 months before the headers.
With the supercharger?
With the supercharger, yep. And then the whole truck got tore apart and completely redone. New tires, wheels, bumpers.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
that was before SEMA, right?
Correct. It was being built for SEMA.
That's killer. So did you, obviously it had bigger tires and everything, but did you notice any difference from a power perspective with the headers, or did it about net out about the same?
I couldn't really tell you. I added all the armor, I added the roof rack, I added everything else.
I bet this thing was
on at one time. So
I bet it was fun to drive around when it was just stock with a supercharger.
It was definitely a style,
Very cool. It looks like we've got some extra batteries to help power all these accessories.
Yep. So running two Odyssey 1500s with a Red Arc BCDC 1225D controller. and then that plugs into my solar panel from Overland Solar. 100-watt solar panel plugs into that, and then helps charge the batteries as well.
Well, you find that solar panel is pretty sufficient to keep the truck charged?
So far, I have not had an issue. You know,
Very
a couple
cool.
days out, not starting the truck, camping, that kind of thing, and never had a problem.
That's awesome. What was the switch for?
The switch is for the KCs. So I had these cyclones installed up here just in case something ever broke on the truck in the middle of the night.
That's cool.
Under the hood. You can kick that switch on.
Oh man, I didn't even see.
Cyclones come on.
I didn't even see those. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Man, it's always cool when you get to see a Land Cruiser, but it's even cooler when it's supercharged. You don't get to see too many of those.
For sure.
That's awesome. Well, killer, man. Well, hey, let's jump down. Let's look at some of these tires. Well, I know got some big meat down there.
Yes, sir. Let's do
Very
it.
cool. All right, Ben, we got some pretty big tires on this thing.
Yes, sir.
What are we looking at?
Toyo Mud Terrains, 285/75 17s.
Okay.
Wrapped on the Hutchinson beadlocks, Rock Monster beadlocks.
Man, those are legit.
Yeah, dual beadlock, the only DOT approved beadlock as well.
Wow.
Yes.
How about that? That's killer. What you want? What's the lowest you've ever been down to?
Normally on trails I take it to about 13 psi, but they can go down to nothing.
Yeah.
Not have an issue ever.
Super comfortable. Like it's just that it's ease of mind that you don't have to
The
worry about
most
it.
comfortable vehicle I have ever been in.
Just
Amazing.
put it all in the tires.
Yeah.
Very cool. Suspension.
Yes.
What's up?
Old Man Emu 2.5-inch lift.
Okay.
It's got the OME torsion bars, OME shocks, nitrocharger shocks,
Okay.
and then also I upgraded the rear springs to the heavy duty rear springs from OME as well.
Yeah, you got to carry around a good bit extra weight. So
Yes, sir.
carry that all around. I knew this is gonna be a question a lot of people are gonna ask. Why just Old Man Emu? It's kind of like played on as a start, like for something that's this well built. It's something that's just kind of like everybody nowadays seems to think, oh, I've got to run Kings or Icons, or I might as well not even buy suspension. So I mean, obviously this thing was built very well, and it was built for SEMA.
No expenses spared.
No expenses spared on almost anything else.
Correct.
So I think that there's a lot to be taken away from the fact that it's running
In
on an Emu suspension. In Australia, let's start there.
They beat on their rigs.
Yes.
And they have very rough terrain and a lot of hard stuff to cover.
Oh yeah.
And OME's proved and great.
Every situation you can possibly imagine.
Yeah. So why not?
Why not?
Go with the crazy expensive shocks and that I don't need for half the stuff I do anyway?
Don't have to be rebuilt either, right?
Correct.
To the last
Just replace the shock and done.
90,000, 100,000 miles, however long you can get.
$90 a shock and not $400 a shock.
Yeah. Oh geez, $400 a shock would be cheap. $400 a shock, cheap. Stock upper control arm?
Yep, stock upper and lower control arms.
Not running too much of a crazy lift on it to
Not
be able to
really,
fit
no,
these
2.5 inch really isn't that big.
That's nothing crazy. You don't have to do too much. Awesome. Let's jump right into this. Everybody's going to be asking the question, what's on this thing?
This is Raptor liner.
Okay.
I had it on my old 4Runner before for about 5 years, and it held up freaking amazing. So I decided, why not? It had the stock paint job when I bought the truck.
Right.
And it was pretty scratched up,
Yep.
down the sides. It's a big girl.
Oh
she
yeah.
hits every branch. So I decided that the Raptor liner held up so good on the 4Runner, why not do it again on the Land Cruiser?
Very cool. It looks great. I mean, I can imagine, this stuff being really tough.
Yeah.
It can be a little abrasive sometimes.
I went a little too crazy on the texture on this one.
Yeah.
So now when you're wrenching on it and you run your knuckles across it, you end up with bloody knuckles. But
yeah.
But I love it. I love the way it looks. I love the way it holds up.
And you said you went too aggressive on it, so does that mean that you can go less
you can
aggressive?
adjust the texture to wherever you want. So you
That's
can have
awesome.
a almost no texture, kind of like a drywall texture.
Wow,
You can
that's
have
interesting.
something a little more, or you can get
That's
the professional gun and spray it with this crazy, nasty texture.
What is something like that going to run you?
The kits were about $110 a piece on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It took 6 kits to do everything on my
Wow,
truck,
really?
including the door jams and
That's
everything.
it?
Yeah.
So for like $1,000 basically?
You got a whole new paint job.
Wow. That's way more than, or way less than I thought it would be.
Yeah, so it comes in black and tintable as well, so you can tint it whatever color you want. I went with a dark green and then wasn't really happy with the green that it came out, so I
Okay.
painted over the top of it as well.
Well, I will be, I might have to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
That's really well. Did you do it all yourself?
Yeah, I did everything myself. Tore the whole truck down, sanded completely everything, door jams, everything. Took about a month total to get it, painted and done.
It's beautiful. Looks great.
Yeah.
And this stuff is super tough. It's going to last
Super
forever,
tough.
basically.
You run a branch through it and there's just like sawdust all throughout your paint job, rinses right off, and pretty easy.
That's killer. Awesome. Well, I know you've got some cool storage in the back.
Yes, sir.
Let's go around back and let's look at that.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. All right, man. Back around the back of the truck. We got some stuff going on back here.
Yeah.
Before we open it up, what are we looking at?
Descent rear bumper.
Okay.
Had the Gamma VD spare tire hitch mount installed.
Awesome.
With the Rotopacks and then the Go Westy nozzle.
Okay.
To use
That's
it for
neat.
cleaning water.
Oh, that's super
dishes
cool.
And that kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then let this guy open for
Good.
you. Then you got the high lift jack mounted on the rear bumper.
Okay. So radio antenna?
Yes, lab rack mount with a diamond antenna for my ham radio.
Awesome. What kind of range you get out of that normally?
I haven't really pushed it.
Haven't really
quite
pushed
tell
it?
You.
Hey, that's a good thing. If you haven't had to push it,
I know I lose sight of people and I don't know how far away they are, and then 20 minutes I'm still talking to them and then finally catch up. So
that's good. Yeah, I'd say several miles.
So it's pretty good. Custom painted tail lights, custom painted third brake light. I got the Whelen mounts, remove the original wind splitter or spoiler that's on the back here, and then added the mounts for the lights back here.
So do those mounts go right where the splitter was?
Yep, they bolt right to the old mounting location there.
And you got a lot of these Land Cruisers, just so well thought out, and there's so many aftermarket parts for them.
That's good.
That's great.
For sure.
You got some storage going on back there, I heard.
A little bit, yeah.
Let's see what we got.
So pop her open for you. So ARB drawers.
Okay.
With the fit kit, so that way it sits nice and clean against the side panels there.
It's super clean.
ARB element fridge.
Yeah.
And then I've got the Trail Tailor tailgate storage.
Oh, look at that.
In the back here.
Wow.
So good for little small stuff. I got, like some straps. I've got some lighting. I've got my air compressor line and that kind of stuff in there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super, just like convenient, out of the way storage.
Useful space that,
wow.
I need to get to quick. Wasn't used before, so.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Looks like we've got an air chuck back there.
Yeah, so I've got the ARB dual compressor installed in here with the chuck.
Oh. So it's actually installed
in
the side of the fit kit almost.
Yeah, it actually bolts to the side of the drawers.
Wow.
And that way it's
nice.
yeah.
Are these the
Out of the way.
ARBs? Are these the ARBs that are they on sliders or are they on the Teflon strips?
So these ones here are actual rollers.
Oh, okay.
Which is nice. This side here, the little guy, these are just the Teflon strips.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Happy with the storage? You like it?
So far, yeah, it's been really nice. Keeps everything organized.
Oh yeah.
Gives me room to work if I have to.
Looks like we've got more lights up there, and then I see a switch panel over there on
yeah,
the door.
so I got the Whelen flashers here, just good for people to see me in the dust, when we get on a trail and you can't quite see the vehicle in front of you.
Yep.
At least the flashers show you where I'm at.
Yeah, very good.
I've got a couple of Whelen lights installed up on top of here as well.
Okay.
The Whelen controller does most of the electronics back here.
Okay.
It does the flashers, it does the lights up top, and it also does the compressor.
Okay.
I mounted a switch to turn the Whelen controller off and on, where the old seatbelt location was up here on the panel.
Oh, cool.
So you kick that guy on and then just press whatever button you want. So air compressor. And that's
Nice.
it. Yeah, not too shabby.
Convenient.
Works pretty
Very
good.
cool.
And then installed a couple of just chargers. Again, 12 volt or I've got USB, either way. And hook those up onto a switch with a voltmeter for the second battery.
That's awesome. Wow, man, that's super well done.
Thank you.
So clean. I love the little strips too. Trauma kit, recovery, hand tools,
just so
tire repair.
Quick, if I can't get in there, somebody else knows where to find it or what's in it.
That's excellent. Wow.
Yeah.
In the drawers.
So in the drawers, we've got the Blue Ridge Overland Gear storage bags. One for tools, one for recovery gear, one for tire repairs, and then the Outer Limit Supply first aid kit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice. It's very well organized.
Not bad. Happy with it.
Oh yeah. Awesome. So let's go ahead and jump maybe in the truck. Let's talk about any modifications that you've done in the truck, comms, things like that.
Sure.
We'll go ahead and do that.
Sounds great.
So all right, man, we've got a lot of additional storage back here attached to the back of these seats. They look pretty elaborate. Let's walk through this.
So these are the Blue Ridge Overland Gear headrest panels. I put a little first aid kit for quick reference if something happens and I need to get to it right now. There's one on the back headrest for that. This is where my trail gear deflators and that kind of stuff is for quick, easy access when deflating. And then the Grayman Tactical Rigid Mole panels. Radios, little extra knick-knack stuff that I might need to get to.
Very nice.
Trash bags, that kind of thing.
Heck yeah, those look very well done. Very well thought out. Place for everything, right?
Exactly.
That's the best thing. Awesome. Well, all right. Well, let's jump up to the front of the truck and we'll talk comms and everything, okay?
Okay.
All right, Ben. So inside, let's talk about like comms, communications, any like interior mods we've got going on.
All right, so we'll start from the bottom and kind of work our way up. I've got the ARB fridge monitor installed here in the center of the console. I've got the iPad for my mapping and navigation. Running the Cobra 18WXST2 CB, mounted to the dash with a custom sleeve bracket. The DeLorme InReach Explorer, use that for, just in case something happens pretty much. Also good for mapping for the iPad as well. I've got the RAM mount for my phone, and then the S-Pod touchscreen for running the lighting and everything in the vehicle. Whistler radar detector, and a Blackview dash cam. And then my wiring buddy, I had him build me a custom mount for the upper console for my scan gauge. So it tells me, transmission temperature, that kind of thing. And he also reads any codes if I ever end up with a check engine light. And then we got the TYT 9800 ham radio, communication-wise. Then we've got these Blue Ridge Overland Gear visors for all my documents about the truck and that kind of thing, and a little extra storage for stuff.
Very cool. Anything else? Everything else is pretty much stock, seats, the whole 9 yards?
For the most part, the seats are rewrapped with road wire leather. I've got a Pioneer AVH 4200 NEX double-din radio, and
that's pretty much it?
Pretty much it, yeah. For the most part, everything else is pretty stock. Replaced a couple of the grab handles with a Maglite
nice
mount, so that way it's just quick and easy.
Awesome. The interior looks super clean. Looks great.
Thank you.
I really like the new seats.
Yeah, the nice leather.
Oh, yeah.
The new foam is amazing, for sure.
Awesome. All right, we got a lot of stuff on the roof.
Yes, sir.
Let's go talk about that.
Okay.
All right, man. So this is kind of the moneymaker up here. You got this is kind of what one of the things they built your truck for SEMA was to show this rack off and
correct.
Give a good platform for it. Let's start going over this stuff.
All right, so Rhino Rack Pioneer platform.
Okay.
With the Rhino Rack Sunseeker awning. I've got the Rhino Rack kayak carrier on here for when I take it out and go fishing. Couple of Rotopacks 4 gallons just for extra fuel storage. I've got the Overland Solar 100-watt solar panel. The Go Light light, I guess. And then the Road Shower 4 for cleaning up. I've got the Whalen lights mounted all around all 4 corners of the rack. I've got a fire stick mounted up here with the Rhino Rack aerial bracket.
Oh, nice.
And then I've got the Rhino Rack fishing rod holder there on the side for carrying my fishing rods.
Very nice. Very nice. So that light up there.
Yes, sir.
That one is mostly you can
it's
actually
a remote
rotate
control
that?
spotlight. So
Wow.
I can kind of angle it wherever I want, turn it however I want.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Really good
killer.
for searching for weird bumps in the night, that kind of thing.
That's awesome. And so like we were talking about earlier, so this truck was in the Rhino Rack booth at SEMA?
No, this truck was built for Rhino Rack as an feature vehicle,
As a
so
feature
an outside vehicle.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Man. So kind of a custom job between you and Rhino Rack and like...
Exactly,
you
yeah.
kinda told
So
them-
I had my 4Runner.
Yep.
I bought the Land Cruiser and planned on taking it very slow to
Yeah.
get it built up. I still had the 4Runner, was planning on using the 4Runner as my adventure vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was asked to use it for SEMA. So, yeah, why not? So it supercharged the build quite a bit. Got it finished real fast.
Oh, I'm sure.
So the whole build was done in about 3 months.
Wow.
From start to finish. It was pretty much stock, interior, exterior, everything. Done in about 3 months.
Wow. Man, this thing turned out really well.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, all right, Ben. Well, we're gonna kind of close this up. We're gonna have a little just conversation, just kind of talk about what inspired the build and what you do with the truck and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna jump down here and do it.
Awesome, sounds good. And we'll just do it right here in the shop.
What?
She's like, all right, cool, I'll meet you there.
So TRD
Actually installed the Supercharger on the Land Cruiser. Which is pretty cool, yeah. Instead of being like a dealer installed option kind of thing, So yeah, they drove the truck down to California, pulled it off the Tundra, put it on the Land Cruiser, but they know that on the Land Cruiser it tends to lean out.
Right.
Which causes a bunch of big issues. You bend the rods, that kind of thing in the motor.
Yeah.
So they actually put a richer tune into my Land Cruiser to keep it from leaning out.
So it's just complete one-off everything.
Pretty much, yeah. So even if you look at my exhaust, I've got black soot all around the exhaust because it runs rich.
How about that? That's really neat.
Yeah. So it's cool.
That's a cool story. All right, so I'm going to introduce this. And
now, are we in frame, or do we need to scoot over?
No, we're perfect. I framed it all up. So this is pretty straightforward. It's going to be a kind of just a genuine conversation. I mean, just kind of like what we were just doing, to be honest with you. I'm not going to edit it. If you say something, just think about it. It's just going to be like, I watch Joe Rogan's podcast a lot, and his are mostly unedited for the most part, and I love that conversation format.
Right.
And you get a lot of like genuine thought, and it's not scripted and everything. So I really just kind of want to work on that. But
yeah.
I'm going to introduce it, and then, we'll just kind of talk.
Okay.
We'll just kind of think about things. So, all right, guys. So this is something that I wanted to add at the end of all the videos that we do with Built. This is going to be probably about 10 to 15, 20 minutes of conversation, completely unedited, similar to like a Joe Rogan podcast where they bring a guest on and they just start having conversations. And whatever happens during the conversation, whatever we talk about, we're going to try and keep it at least in one, kind of general area, like adventure, camping, the truck, what do you use it for, things like that. But it's going to be kind of, fairly genuine. If we say something that sparks a question in you, comment down below, we can get a hold of everybody and start talking about it. So, Ben, I really just want to thank you again for coming all the way out here.
Yeah, of course, and thank you for taking your time.
Dealing with my camera issues and trying to find a place to film and, this absolutely terrible lighting because it's the middle of the day, but, it's the only time I could do it. This Land Cruiser is unbelievable, man. I mean, I really, it's ever since you got it done, I saw it in SEMA, I mean, especially just driving around town. I mean, it's just been like, it's the epitome of like what a fully built, maximized, organized, there's nothing on this truck. I know besides you wish you could get rid of the torsion bars, but there's nothing on the truck that hasn't been touched in some way to improve it for what you want to use it for.
Correct. The better thing about the truck, too, is that it was built by a couple of friends in a driveway.
Yeah.
It has not gone to a shop and paid to have everything installed. This is 3 guys who like to wrench in a driveway, having fun.
I think that's probably the best thing because it's not that it's not like it's just like, oh man, this is my truck. I work on my truck as well. Like I love all the local companies that are like, oh, we can put it on for you, that kind of stuff. And to me, it's not the same,
right?
Because I don't have as much invested interest in the part that I've installed and the process to get it on, and I feel like I appreciate all the stuff more. I mean, I've done my own suspension. God, I've changed suspension 7-8 times on that truck at least, and I've done it myself every single time, and it's been a great learning experience. But to me, it adds value to the vehicle as like almost like a friend or like a member of like your extended family, because
right.
you have so much time invested in the truck.
So me and a couple buddies, they both have Jeeps. I'm the only one with a Toyota. But Gene is pretty smart at installing things and how things work and how to figure things out. John Roy is my wiring electronics expert.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty smart at how things work that way, where I'm completely lost.
Right.
And then I can turn a wrench.
Yeah.
I'm not really great at anything, but I can do a little bit of everything.
You're good at paint.
Yeah, paint's my forte.
Paint's your forte, man.
I can do that for sure pretty easy, but when it comes to other things, I'm, learning. So it's nice, too, if something happens on the vehicle, the 3 of us have all worked on it. The 3 of us know everything about it, so we know the ins and outs, know where wires are ran or located or how things are functioning. And
that's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
That really is. I mean, if you, and I'm not trying to be overly critical about anybody that does, anything. If you're not mechanically inclined, you don't feel comfortable working on your vehicle, or if it's a, brand new $40,000, $50,000 vehicle, and you're fortunate enough to have, the resources to put the a large amount of money into it to do what you want with it, and you don't feel like touching it yourself. I get that. I do. You want a professional to do it. But I mean,
when you're out in the sticks and something happens,
man, if you don't know where everything is and you don't know how it works,
right,
you can run into some real issues. I mean, if you're not planning on getting way out there, it's not that big of a deal.
There was one time we took the Land Cruiser out. We were up in Sand Hollow for the weekend camping, and on the way back, we decided to stop at this attraction on the side of the road that we saw.
Right.
So we pulled over. I took a couple pictures, of a couple buddies' trucks and my truck and that kind of thing. And when I went to go start the truck, it was nothing. Just
dead.
Nothing. You turn the key, there's no lights, there's no click, there's no nothing. Okay, first check the batteries, all right, batteries are still hooked up, batteries are still good and have a charge. All right, well, let's find something else. We sat on the side of the road for probably 2.5, 3 hours.
Wow.
Trying to figure it out.
Just chasing down whatever it is.
Yeah, I finally called the old owner of the truck. He said there was this one time that there was a wire by the ECU that had gotten a little loose, and same thing, wouldn't start. Well, finally figured it out. We got in there, ripped the glove box out, got to the ECUs.
Wow.
Found the one wire, jiggled it a little bit. My buddy Gene's turning the key, fires it up.
Wow.
He's like, okay, well, now that we know that this wire is an issue,
we're gonna fix
straight
this.
to my wiring
Straight
buddy.
to the wiring buddy. We're going to get this
He
fixed.
soldered it, and everything's been great ever since. But
that's really neat.
without knowing where or how things work and where they are, we would have been out there for a long time.
And, you know, situations like that, I mean, I've run into them with other people's vehicles, whether it be, you know, blowing a flat and they didn't have maybe like the key to take the wheel off.
Right.
You know, we had a situation like that one time. We were out probably about as remote as you can get in Utah. So there's a section of trail north of Lake Powell.
Okay.
That actually works its way up to Escalante. It's part of the Utah Traverse. And at one point, it's not mileage-wise maybe the most remote, but I think at one point you're in the middle. You're 100 miles in both directions from a paved road. And really, when I say 100 miles, that one section takes 2 days to cut through. I mean, it's a 200-mile section, but it takes 2 full days, 16 hours driving to get all the way through it. And so if you have something like that happen on your truck, or you get flat and you can't change it, or if
no tow company's going to come out there and get you.
If they do,
they're going to say, "Hey, bring you back to a paved road, and we'll pick you up there."
Oh yeah,
you know,
get it back to a paved road, and and you just abandon the vehicle. But I mean, the problem with that is you're 100 miles from a road,
right?
And there's no cell phone service. So if you don't have something like a DeLorme, you're 100 miles from anything. So you better hope you've got water in a backpack that you can carry and you can walk out, as if you don't have some other people with you.
Right.
So, but for me, being able to do that is kind of like the saving grace with, you know, if I know where it's at and I know, okay, I kind of have an idea, like, you know, hear a little noise and my wife will look at me and be like, "What is that on the truck? What did you do?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I know exactly what it is. It's just some plastic. It's not a big deal." But I know that because I've worked on it myself. But I mean, I can definitely see that being a big factor in like why you are, you know, you like this vehicle so much and you're like invested in it, and attached to it. I mean, to an extent.
Many weekends.
So many weekends.
Wrenching.
I'm the same way with mine. So, you know, I mean, purpose built. You built it for, obviously, you bought it just for you.
Correct.
And then you ended up building it because it was going to be in SEMA.
Correct.
Did you, and I know you had say in everything that you bought to put on the truck for the most part. The Rhino Rack stuff, they just, you know, there were some specifications that they wanted because it was an outside vehicle for them for the most part. But you built it for, you know, I'm sure you built it for a specific style of travel. So, I mean, we had kind of had this conversation off screen a little bit where you were stuck between an 80 series and then this.
And the 100 series, correct.
Based upon, you know, things like, you know, flex and, you know, doing a little bit more hard
based off my old 4Runner, I had a second-gen 4Runner, 1990.
Yep.
Pretty underpowered. They call it a 3-point slow for a reason. You know?
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, I was getting into... I wanted a new vehicle, so that's why I purchased the 4Runner, and I'd used it for many years, not knowing my limitations with the vehicle, not knowing what I was really doing with the vehicle, you know, learning how to off-road on that truck, and over that 5-year span, it got to a point where it just wasn't working for what I wanted. It wasn't doing what I wanted. I was getting into some harder off-road. I was getting into some further travel distances, you know, going up into Utah, going up into the mountains, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I was stuck, you know, do I want a solid front axle or do I want a V8 for the power?
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I really had to do some thinking, soul searching, you know.
Yep.
Am I going to be doing a lot of hardcore off-roading?
Right.
No, I will do it occasionally. Yes, I do enjoy it. But that's not the main focus.
Yeah.
The main focus is to get out and camp and to get out and see things and to get out and be comfortable.
Go fishing.
So that's where the 100 series came into play.
Absolutely.
It's got the V8. This one's got the Supercharger, a little extra.
Even better.
And then, the luxuries and the plush interior and everything else about it.
It comes with a Land Cruiser.
It is the most comfortable.
And it's got the heritage, and I mean the
Land Cruiser name, for sure.
Man, I mean that's like when everybody thinks about, you know, like off road. It's like you think of two things. You really do when you think of like long distance off road travel and like heritage. You think of a Land Cruiser,
right?
And you think of Land Rover Discoveries, and that's just about it, or a Defender maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe Defender,
depending on what country you're in. Yeah.
But I mean, Land Cruiser. I mean, like they have them all over the world, and they go everywhere.
Absolutely.
And they hardly ever break down, and people take them in some of the most ridiculous places.
I mean, even the old Land Cruisers, the 60 series, the 50 series, the 40 series, they're still on the road, still taking out and taking a beating, you know? They're
Oh, yeah. Man, funny
tried
story.
and true.
Funny story with that. My landlord, when I was in college, he was probably in his early 30s, but he was going back to law school. He had an 80 series. I mean, this thing looked like it had been hit with like a busted paint bucket everywhere you could think of. He had like different color, looked like it had like different paint on it, had dented everywhere. But no, it was not a piece of panel that was not damaged. Had 497,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And every single day, he got in it, he started it, and he drove it 215 miles one way to go to law school.
Wow.
So 400 miles round trip every day, 5 days a week. And it never stopped for the entire 2 years that I rented from the guy. That right there was just like, alone. I was just like, it's got how many miles?
Yeah, right.
And you do what with it?
And still every day, it never let you down?
Never let him down. It was stock. He didn't change anything on it. Still had stock tires. But I mean, that thing's probably still running around somewhere.
Right.
It has to be. It's got like 700,000 miles on it.
Land Cruiser.
Oh, million-mile Land Cruiser. He's getting pretty close to it. But yeah, I think it was an 80 series. I'm pretty sure it was. But I mean, it's just, they're crazy.
Yeah.
You gotta love them.
Absolutely.
They're super cool. But is there anything else that you want to talk about with the truck? I mean, I know we had talked earlier about a mod list, and you were like, man, I don't have time between now and when we meet to write everything down.
Everything has literally been touched.
Everything's been touched.
All of the moldings have been removed. I painted all the gloss black accents on the moldings. Even the door, handles and stuff are painted gloss black on the insides, so that way the bed liner wouldn't ruin it.
Oh man.
Door jambs are all bed line. There's just little stuff here and there that I forget about.
Yeah.
That I don't even realize that I did. There was a lot of the rubbers have all been replaced in it now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When I was building the truck at first, anything that I saw damaged or clips that were broken, I went back to Toyota and bought all OEM.
Yep.
So everything was just solid. Everything was good.
Yep.
But yeah,
It's beautiful.
I can't. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think you've sold me on this Rhino. Or what is it called again?
Raptor liner.
Raptor liner.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Rhino. Raptor liner.
Raptor liner.
That's a crazy good price for something that is this good looking.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not as thick as Linex's. Linex
Right.
is like a very
Yeah,
thick, rubbery kind of
it weighs a
real
ton,
heavy.
too.
Yeah, the Raptor liner's a urethane coating.
Okay.
So it goes on pretty thin. It still holds up really well. It takes a really good beating. But you don't have to worry about your gaps and your edges and things going back together when you do it.
Right.
It's so minimal and thin enough that it's you don't have to worry.
And you took all the paneling off when you
Completely. I mean,
everything that
door
you could take
handles
off.
were out, moldings were out, the glass was removed. Every little rubber strip and panel and that kind of thing was removed. The thing was stripped bare except for the shell.
Wow.
And then bedlined everything at the time and then put it all back together.
That's awesome.
But
I might do that this winter. I can take about a week off work, and I might just take the entire week.
That's
and just
it.
do all
Prep
at once.
is the main thing.
Yeah.
Make sure you've sanded it completely. You don't want any shiny spot at all.
Yeah.
Anything shiny, the bed liner's not going to stick to it. It's just going to sit on it.
I definitely learned that when I OEM painted my TRD front grille.
Yeah.
And I like thinking about, oh man, I remember you had talked to me about doing doing something like this a couple times when it got some 120/80 grit. Took it all off. It was all nasty and looked matted and stuff. And I was like, all right, now wipe it down with the microfiber, get all the dust off, clean it.
Right.
Then set it down. I would, make sure to lay my primer down, let it all dry, and then I got OEM paint, painted OEM, got sealer, got the paint seal on it, sealed the whole thing, dried it. That's the only thing I've ever painted.
That's
But
the
it turned
biggest
out-
thing. Prep is the paint job. Anybody can paint.
Anybody
It's
can paint.
the prep.
Yeah, it's just taking your time and actually doing it right.
Absolutely.
Well, cool, man. Is there anything else we want to talk about? This thing's pretty crazy. We've covered just about every square inch of it.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't, nothing coming to mind.
Cool, man. Well, buddy, I appreciate you bringing
Absolutely,
it out.
Rustin. Anytime, bud.
Dealing with all of this. If you guys have any questions for Ben about the build, you can just comment down below. I will make sure that if you see,
I'll respond to it as well.
You can respond to them straight on the video. If you have questions about anything that you saw on the truck as we were walking around it that maybe we didn't cover, there's a ton of stuff on it. I'm sorry. I'm sure we will have
I definitely
forgotten
forgot
something.
stuff, for sure.
When you own the truck and you'll forget stuff, you got a lot going on. just go ahead and comment down below. We'll make sure the questions get answered. But we appreciate you watching the video. As always, if you thought the video, you really liked this new format, you like this video, you like Ben's truck, make sure you leave a thumbs up. It really allows us to judge, how we're doing with the content. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. As always, guys, this has been Rustin. This has been Ben. Overlanding USA. This is our first built video of the year. Hopefully we'll make a lot more. We'll see you guys in the next one.